Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Mad, and today we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're going to actually go through some 12-0 tips and tricks. So I'm actually gonna show you guys 3 different ways of being able to go 12-0. But before we get into each method, make sure y'all smash that like button and subscribe if you have not already. I appreciate that support. As you guys can see, we've been able to go 12-0 every month except for the Wilt Chamberlain month. The Wilt Chamberlain month, unfortunately, we did get carried away with the Kobe grind, but it's okay. Hopefully, eventually 2K does put him up on the boards again, and we will be able to scoop that card up. And without any further delay, let's get into the first method. All right, guys, so the first method is obviously you want to have the best lineup possible, right? So for example, I use a 10-man rotation. I have 3 bronzes at the end. I just like to use my 5 starters and my 5 bench players, so that way I'm not mix matching rotations, nothing like that. But of course, that's up to your play style. But at this stage in the game, if you are trying to run a God Squad or anything that is pink diamond or higher, you're going to get matched up with either God Squads or pink diamond or higher. So in order to play well against teams like that, you need to have specific attributes and badges for every person on your squad. So what I always recommend is I recommend defense over offense, but of course that depends on your play style. But at this stage of the game, everybody on your team should have at least a 90 perimeter defense and at least, I want to say, a 70 or 80 interior defense. That means that you can constantly switch in between players and nobody is going to get taken advantage of too badly. So for example, one of my favorite cards on my team is Andre Kirilenko, and is he expensive? He is kind of expensive, but a budget version of this would be Diamond Jonathan Isaac, for example. He's a free card on the token reward market. Also, I would suggest, for example, Diamond Robert Covington. He is a lockdown defender. He could play the 4, he could play the 3. He's got great speed, crazy defense, sharp shooter. So basically, those are the kind of players that you want. You want them long, lanky dudes playing the passing lanes, playing great defense. So basically, you want as good defense as you can get, and you want the best shooting that you could possibly get as well, so that you can stretch the floor. So basically, guys, you want tall guys, you want lanky guys, you want guys who are lockdown defenders, who are sharp shooters, who can knock down a shot if they're open. So one of the most important badges that each player on your team should have is that Hall of Fame pick dodger. That way they can maneuver past those screens every play down. And the second very important badge is Hall of Fame clams. Those two, in my opinion, are the 2 more important badges. And then after that, it would be Intimidator. So those 3 Hall of Fame badges are very, very important. As you can see, this Diamond Robert Covington, who is free just by completing a Spotlight series, has all 3 of those badges. He's also got a 94 3-ball. He's got decent speed, insane perimeter and interior defense. So basically, this card is a diamond, but low-key it's not a diamond. And there's a bunch of cards like this. If y'all want me to put out a video on best diamond lineup, best pink diamond lineup, etc., let me know and I could get that in order as well. But yeah, guys, so basically you want all your players to be as fast as possible, as good as possible on defense, and have at least those 3 Hall of Fame badges to be amazing, or at the very least they got to be gold badges in order to succeed in Unlimited, because unfortunately it is very, very sweaty. So your players got to be able to lock down every single play. All right, guys, so after you assemble your lineup and your squad, the next thing you got to do is hop over to the settings. All right, guys, so I did want to go online, but right now not only is it sweaty, but it's also laggy as well on the Unlimited servers. So I thought it would be better to just take our time here and go over it in just a regular sim game. So guys, basically what you want to do for on-ball pressure, you want it to be tight. You don't want to put smother, because if you put smother, then your opponent can get past you very easily. So at that point, your players play too tight so that an easy dribble move or even running around them, your opponent can just run past you. So definitely don't do smother. You want to do tight, and off ball you want to do tight as well. Okay, that is what I do. For the direction, I leave it on automatic. I've noticed that when you specify one certain way of direction, if the opponent goes the different direction, then they got a clear path basically, and your player does not stand in front of them. So I like to leave that on automatic. For on-ball screen, you want to go over. So that means instead of your player going behind the screen, he's going to try to push past the screen, and in turn, he's actually going to stick by the perimeter ball handler. He won't get caught in the screen. He'll try to push through the screen. So that's my favorite way to play defense. Then for hedge, you're going to do hard hedge. So hard hedge means he's going to bang into that screen. Don't worry, guys. You barely ever get called for any screen violations. So that means he's going to bang hard into that screen and try to get past that big man so that he can still lock up on the ball handler. For center, I like to go under, obviously, so the center just retracts a little bit, so that way if the opponent does drive, the center is still there to help out. This is a little bit hard if your opponent does pick and fades, so that means their center is going to go to the perimeter line, so that means you're going to want to use your center, you're going to want to off ball and run with your center to the perimeter in order to lock up. And then finally, off ball screen, you're going to go over as well. So that's if you're not playing on ball defense, you're going to want the off ball screen, you want to go over as well. Other than that, guys, I don't put any specific defensive settings on anything else. But if I notice, for example, that the opponent's center cannot shoot, then for off ball, I'll put, instead of tight, I'll put either automatic or I'll put even gap. So that way it kind of shrinks the floor a little bit, and it's a little bit harder for the opponent to play like that. All right, guys, and after that, we go into our offensive settings. For freelance, you always want to pick the Hawks. The Hawks freelance spreads the floor. It's almost like a 5-out freelance. That is the best freelance that I've seen in 2K. So that is the one that I always use. And even the automatic plays that runs through it, that is the best one in my opinion. And then finally, guys, for coach settings, you want to have the adaptive coach setting off. It has to be off. Otherwise, all the settings that you just changed, they're going to be negated by the CPU. He's going to make his own adjustments. So that has to be off. Okay, guys? If you want your settings to stick, make sure that this is off. Can't stress that enough. All right, guys. And finally, the help defense, this is depending on your opponent. So if you see that your opponent is driving a lot and kicking out, then you want to turn this help defense all the way down. So what this enables is that basically the players on the perimeter and on the corners, they are less likely to drive in to help the person who is cutting to the basket. I hope that makes sense. So basically, nobody is helping the drive. They're still going to stay on the perimeter. Obviously, this is not foolproof because 2K's system is broken. So if a player still drives in, somebody usually still does help over, but the zero help defense helps that a ton in my opinion. All right, guys, so that is the first method of how we go 12-0 every month. Basically having the best players you can have, best perimeter defender, best interior defender, and having those 3 Hall of Fame badges, pick dodger, intimidator, and clamps. Those are definitely needed. Make sure that you can space the floor with every player, that they have good perimeter defense, interior defense, speed, and make sure that everyone can shoot. That is a given. Hawks freelance, and then once again those defensive settings that I showed you earlier. So that is the first method. All right, guys, so the second method is a little bit controversial in my opinion, but basically what you want to do is run an all bronze lineup, and you have a high chance of matching up with an actual computer that 2K generates to play you. So basically, you are going to go up against a completely computerized team generated by 2K that is just going to chuck up half-court shots. If you haven't seen the videos, check them out. In order for you to have the most fair matchup, 2K actually generates a lineup because there is nobody that can play against you. It's very strange, but it seems to work for some people. So basically, an all bronze lineup. But guys, bear in mind that while doing this method, you can get matched up with other all bronze lineups. So that means that you are actually going to be playing a full game against a real person. This is not a bulletproof method, and you're not going to be matched up with the CPU every single time. So be ready to actually play game. The benefit of this method is that sometimes you do get to go up against a computer and it's an easy win, but you can get matched up against a real person and you might lose depending on how sweaty that person is with those bronze players. All right, guys, and the last method, a little bit different than the second method with the all bronzes. So basically what people do is they have all bronze players, but they'll insert 2 opals, for example. This way, the overall right now is an 81-82, so you'll get matched up with other 81-82 overalls. So you have a high risk of matching up with somebody who also has either 1 opal or all emeralds or all sapphires, etc. So this method is also not a surefire win by any means, but you have a good chance of matching up with, for example, let's say if your opponent has only one opal, you have two opals, you have the advantage, you should be able to win. Or for example, if they have all sapphire lineup, that's obviously an easy win, even if they have all sapphires, because you have two opals. So that's kind of another method that people are using. They're using kind of like a mixture of bronzes or like emeralds and opals and stuff like that in order to get matched up with inferior squads. So this is the third method. So guys, all three of these methods, there's no surefire way to win, but they can help you go 12-0 for sure. Obviously, in the beginning of the month, that is the sweatiest and hardest time to go 12-0. So be careful, guys. Usually, I recommend going at least a week and a half later. That's when you should be trying to go for 12-0. And before that time, just try to practice as much as you can. But yeah, guys, I hope that any of these three methods help you. Any of this information helped you, and if it helps anybody get easier wins or play better, let me know in the comment section. I am just trying to help you guys and just show you how I go 12-0 usually every single month. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative. Make sure y'all sub up if you have not already. Leave a like, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.